Excited to have you join me for a live stream. This is the second one I've done on this channel, and it's all pretty new to me, but I was challenged today by another person to do 10 videos over the next 10 days, and I decided to tackle it by doing something that pushed me out of my comfort zone, which is doing live videos. So I will tell this to you up front. Most of my other videos are pretty edited down, but this one is going to be a lot more casual. And so bear with me and recognize that doing something live is a little bit more challenging. And so it comes off the top of my head. I'm not practicing a lot of this stuff, and I'm not working on editing it down. So this, what you see is what you get tonight. In fact, I've got my cup of tea. It's a quiet evening around here. I've kicked my kids and, no, not kicked. I've sent my kids and my husband outside to the shop. There's one right now yelling at the door. This is life in my house. So anyway, the thing that I really wanted to share is when I think about how I ended up doing videos and on this channel doing this, one of the challenges I have always had in my life is knowing when to start and when to stop doing things. When do you persist and when do you give up? I think of that proverb, which or the adage we say, at least in English, which is, you know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So on one level, there is something insane about, just a moment. Go get it. So this is why people don't do live videos, because you have little people running around sometimes and dogs, but here we are and I'm trying it. So the challenge of my life has been knowing when to stop and when to persist with things, and whether that's in business, whether it's a direction or endeavor that I'm doing. And I've really struggled sometimes to know how long to when is it insanity to keep doing what I'm doing in that direction, as opposed to being super persistent and persevering more than anyone else? And when do you have to change direction? And, one of the videos I posted recently was about, it was a story of Henry Ford and how he had to give up, but like he was doing his first car. And he talked about how he got into building that first car and he quickly realized all the things that he could have done better and wanted to quit so that he could build a better car. But something challenged him to not do that. He ended up building that car and finishing it. And along the way, not only learned one or two things to do better, but he learned 3 or 4 or 5 things that he could apply to the next car that he built. And so, it's interesting. I've spent almost 2 years now doing YouTube. I had it started with another channel. I learned a lot. I struggled with it. And along the way, I just really, was frustrated because some of the things that I was learning didn't seem to be working. And for me, being a strong Christian, this is something that I pray about a lot, and I'm trying to do business with God. And so for me, that means taking these challenges to God in prayer and trying not to make these decisions by myself. And so that means, or what does that look like? I can't tell you how many times I wanted to quit after starting that first channel. I quickly realized some of the things that I had done wrong. I burned out after the first couple of months of doing videos. Little one, I'm busy. We'll talk later. Okay? Can you be really quiet for me? Um, what was I saying? For me, just holding that open to God and being prayerful about it has really helped me make these decisions. But for there was a lot of stops and starts. There was a lot of things I was learning, and I won't even detail that right now. Suffice it to say, it was interesting. About 2 months ago, I felt like I finally got the go ahead. I was led in prayer to finally stop focusing on that channel and to take many of the videos that I had used and to edit them down and to shift over and focus and niche down on what I've learned around God and money. And I've loved that verse. I've titled this channel "The Power to Get Wealth," which is right out of Deuteronomy, and it's a phrase from the Bible. How God teaches us the power to get wealth, and that's stuff I want to talk about more in the future. But really, if you're somebody like me that has struggled at different times in direction, what direction to go in life or how to do business, then and then this stopping and starting, when do you persist and when do you give up? I challenge you to just don't do that in your own strength, don't do it in your own power, but take it to God and listen. And you know what, prayer and listening, talking to God is a bit of a learning experience, just like learning to communicate with the people in your life. And you might not get it right the first time around. It might take you years to begin to hear the voice of God. At least it's taken me years. But as you practice, you're going to get better. And if the God of the universe is who I believe he is, his heart is for us to hear his voice, and he wants to engage with us in a way that we can hear and understand his voice. And so he wants to speak in a way that you can understand. And so, if you're struggling today to figure out, should I just keep persisting in this direction, or do I give up and do I change course? Do I quit my business and start another one? Or do I quit this direction and go in a different direction? When do I pivot? The only answer I can give you is do it with God, because that has given me more peace through the years, even in the challenge of it, than anything else. And that's how it is that I've redirected and started over brand new with a new channel 2 months ago, and has been steadily growing thanks to all of you, every one of you that has subscribed, every one of you that has given a thumbs up or commented or watched. And so I'm trying to up the ante a little bit right now, and my commitments to do 10 live videos over the next few days, even when I get interrupted by little people or anything else. But anyway, here it is. This is out of my comfort zone, totally being stretched in a new way. And so that's just what that is. But I challenge you and I encourage you to ask God what to do, wherever you're at, whatever the dilemma is. Do you persist? Do you give up or change course? Give it to God, ask, and trust that he'll speak in a way that you can understand. And, even if it's a stretch of the imagination to feel like you're almost making it up, just, ask God for that insight, ask God for wisdom. And then, whatever signs you're given that lead you in a direction, then just confidently go in that direction until you need to reassess again. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon in some different places or times, I'm sure. Maybe I'll schedule these out to make it a little easier if you want to join me for this 10-day journey. Have a great night.